back to a more local level and look at Springfield No One Leaves.
How you doing? My name is Candejah Pink, and I'm one of the Bank Tennis Association leaders from Springfield No One Leaves. And I thank you for having me here and hearing my side of the story about what's going on with foreclosed homes. I'm originally from New York City, and the purpose of me even moving to Springfield was, I always made a joke that it was because they were the only state that took my credit in buying a house. But the joke was on me because I now have a foreclosed home, which I don't appreciate. I used to work for the New York Fire Department, EMS in the city, and I currently lost that job there for 14 years. And now it's so hard to get a job here in my city, Springfield, and I don't understand why that it's so hard to get a common job. I'm not understanding that. I can't compute that at all. But what I was listening to, the two panels that spoke about, they answered my own question about how like corporates have been paying the politicians for their campaigns, and then they get in trouble, and then the circles that the government helps them out. But what happened to us? Why did we get pushed out of this? Where did we fit in this cycle that they get to save each other, but they don't help us out? I'm not understanding that, and this is why I'm pushing back and letting the banks know. So when my house got into foreclosure, I was on my own. There was no one leaves just yet. I was foreclosed October 22nd, 2010. And I was paving the streets trying to find help, getting help, anything. I didn't care. And I lost the battle. But that day, Friday, October 22nd, 2010, I said, you know what? I'm not going nowhere. Someone's going to answer to what just happened. I didn't know when somebody called me and said, go to this meeting, and I went to that meeting, and I haven't stopped going to every, I don't miss not one meeting, and I'm letting everybody know that I don't care what the problem is, what issues you have. The other person that's giving you the problem, the other corporation that's giving you the problem, you ask them why. Why do I have to settle for this? Explain that first before I give in. I'm not submitting to anything. So you gotta excuse me a little bit, because I'm ready to fight, you know, and I mean fight verbally, of course. But I'm ready to fight. I mean, stand up for your rights. You have a right, you have a voice. It needs to be heard. You know, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. You know, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I help people. I didn't mind going the extra extend when I was working for the fire department, EMS. I didn't mind the extra work. I didn't mind helping out. You needed me if I was a dispatcher. So if we couldn't, you didn't know where you was at, I was going to find you. I had them units out there finding you to make sure that you were safe. So now it was my turn, and I couldn't find no help. But boy, I'm loving No One Leaves. It's like, wow, the coming together, you know, and we're not even funded, so it's not that you need the money, because we're not funded, you know, donations here and there, yes, we appreciate, but it's not about the money, it's about the fact that they were wrong, and they need to come on now, when somebody help me, they need to explain themselves, you know, so, but, I'm supposed to share this. Oh my goodness. I'm still in my house. It's a year now. I'm not going to stop until they have the right paperwork to show and prove to me that they are the rightful owners, since MERS been using a pool for the mortgages, so now they don't know who has what. They can't even figure out what dates like one said, oh, we got the promissory note in '06, and the other one said '09, so there's a discrepancy. I didn't leave. So I didn't stay in my house a little while longer until you get this right. Okay? That's just how I feel. But that's what I had to let my lawyer know, like, listen, I'm not going to just settle in. I really want to take it to trial. And I took everything to trial. And it's still going on, and I'm still fighting, though. But we are a small city. We even went to the counselors to ask for help. And they passed the strongest anti-foreclosure ordinance in August of 2011. And the banks pushed back and turned around and decided that if you're going to go forward, then we will sue the city. Sue the city? We had a tornado, a blizzard. People are homeless. Somebody lost their house and the tornado hit the house and the house was on foreclosure and the bank doesn't want to help and you have the audacity to say you want to sue who? And then we supposedly don't have any money, right? So what are you suing us for? Why? Why can't you help us? Why does the corporation have to come into our city and say what they give demands? How are you going to give demands if you don't even want to give anybody the right hours for jobs? You want to just have them work 1 day a week, right? And they slick. They're smart, right? They're supposed to be smarter than us because at 24 hours a week, you don't have to get any medical insurance, right? I don't have to give you that, right? But yet, you want to sue the city. So now, where's the money? Where's the pulls out of? SSI checks, medical insurance, all the money goes to you because we can't have that. We have to live homeless, live out of our cars, and go to work at Walmart and work for what, $20 a week? That I'm not understanding. And how we're supposed to pay our rent and mortgage? Where's this coming from? I don't think this is fair at all. And I think that we need to stand up and rebuild our own city, our own town, and do it ourselves. And how about you leave us alone and go somebody and pick up somebody your own size.
Armstrong, and I've had the pleasure of being bringing a class that I'm teaching this semester to No One Leaves. They open their doors to us, they open their hearts to us, and one of the things we've had the opportunity to do is see how powerful this organization is. Candejah was generous enough to say she could come today to speak with everyone here at Smith. There's many more people in this organization, and like you were saying, this is not a nonprofit organization, this is a social movement. These are people who got kicked out of their homes or in process of foreclosure, they're fighting eviction, they're saying, wait a minute, this is not the way the system should be working, this is not the way we have to do this. So we've had the opportunity, and this is an organization that's been around for now a year and a half. A year.
Yes, it's our anniversary this month, November. We win. That's right. We fight. We win!
So one of the things that's been happening is two pieces to this movement. One is to fight the mortgage foreclosure process, and the other is to fight eviction. So far, No One Leaves has been fighting eviction. The story that Candejah is telling is a story of a house that's already, her own home, that's already been foreclosed on. The fight then is to make sure she isn't evicted from her home. In that sense, this is an occupy our homes, our dignity. And tenants too. This is not a question of who has the capital or the access to particular mortgages to own a home. It's also the tenants who live in homes that have been foreclosed on. You don't have to leave, and that's right. Part of this movement. That's right. So the next step, I mean, there's another step that's coming, and we put up a little poster, and I hope you all can see it. It's small, but it's powerful.
We decided to do a march, yes.
Nick, you want to talk about the march?
The march. I'm excited about the march. Let's shut it down. That's what I'm excited about. But yes, the march is to let the corpus know that we're not taking it anymore, and then we're still not going to back down. We're having it right on Main Street. We're going to start from the south end of Main Street. We're going to walk to Bank of America, and sit there and let them know that we're not taking any more at 11 o'clock Monday. Monday is a good day just before the holidays because we are thankful for what we got, and then nobody can not change that. Our hearts and our soul. We're going to take our dignity at all. I'm not claiming that.
And the next step is coming, which is, why are these mortgage foreclosures even happening? How do we fight that? How do we fight the right not just to not be kicked out of your home, but how do we fight for principal reduction? The reduction of principal on houses that are worth less after the crisis in 2008. The property values plummeted. People are owing more on their homes than they are worth. Why aren't banks willing to negotiate for principal reduction? So that people are paying back on the home as for what it's worth. So what's happening now, banks foreclose on homes, and I'll show the auction prices in a second. So one of the things they've been doing is going to these auctions where the home is foreclosed on, the auctioneer comes in, and this is a particular example of Bank of America, there are many other banks that are doing this, is foreclosing on the person. They foreclose on the person, then they have an auction to sell off the home. It's called a public auction, right? Anyone potentially could come to this auction. Instead, what tends to happen is Bank of America comes to its own auction, and then buys up the home for what it's actually worth, yet refuses to reduce the principal with the person who's currently living in the home. Do you hear the illogic?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So you start digging into this, and you're like, this is a whole other world. Why is it happening like this? It doesn't make sense. So this is a protest that happened last week. It was a protest against an auction, and the purpose of the protest is to make sure that if it's not a bank rep who's there, they should know we're going to be fighting this eviction. They should know that no one leaves is going to make sure that this person is going to stay in their home. So what tends to happen then is the bank, like I said, buys back the home that they just foreclosed on. So this is a picture of, this is a short clip from, this is from last Wednesday. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, to give you a heads up about this particular auction, she said her name is St. Louis. She's one of our Bank Tenants Association leaders. She is going through a divorce, which her husband had refused to sign the papers to try to get a modification. And Bank of America promised that after she get her divorce, that they will work with her because she has the money to get a modification. She has that. And instead, they went back on their run and decided to foreclose the house before the divorce was final. I don't understand the logic in that because that was your word. I thought this country, the word is bond, right? So how does this happen? Okay, so this is They still went ahead with that auction. Bank of America did buy the house back to themselves. So, and this is what St. Louis wanted. She wanted, that way her husband has no ties to the house and she's not going anywhere. And her niece and nephew has stated the same thing, that we're not going anywhere, and they're going to fight Bank of America back.
One more point today before we sit down, and that's, I teach courses on gender and global economy and how it affects social movements. What are the politics of money? And one of the things we learned is that these are things happening. These are effects happening all over the world. They don't happen the same way. They don't follow a kind of neat menu. So you can say, oh, what happened in the Philippines, it's happening here. Or what happened in India, I feel that because it happened to me here. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you have to build those connections between not only the effects, but the movements that rise from them. Find a place where you have to respect and hear the dignity of these movements in ways that maybe you're going to have to admit you don't really get it yet. Or you have to learn a little bit more about the tactics they're using and what they're doing to fight back. And that process of learning takes a kind of humility. It takes a kind of generosity where you start to build thoughtful connections between the issues that you're facing. So I thought one thing I wanted to raise today was a couple of statistics. So what we found out 2 days ago is that the foreclosures in the United States from September to October, they rose 7%. So we had a low because someone noticed they were robo-signing all these loans, and they were doing it illegal, and they didn't even have the deed or the title to the house they were foreclosing on. That happened a year ago, and they said, okay, we'll slow down. They're speeding back up again. This is getting faster, not slower. So the numbers that came out a couple of days ago is 230,000 properties, 678. Each one of those are people who live in those homes. Were given notices of default, auction, or repossession. That's up from 214,855 in September. This is speeding up. So we're talking about foreclosure, and this is a largely student audience. This isn't an audience necessarily of people who own homes, or who, and yet you probably have rented homes or lived in homes that were owned by somebody else. I guess the other thing is to come back to where we are. These are questions of debt. I think in this room, most students have massive debt. To get your education, to come to school, requires investment into your future, what you owe on the education you're receiving now. Not only are mortgage foreclosures going up, student debt is going up. Last year, there was a report that came out for student debt, and you all know this, right? At some level, you all know this. The amount of student debt, for an average student debt, for a person who graduated in 2010 was $25,250. That's up 5% from 2009. So even the questions of debt are at every level, and debt is a business. Someone's making profit off of our debt, whether it's our mortgage debt or our student debt. And I think we're talking about occupy. I think as we reoccupy our homes, we also have to reoccupy our minds. Why is it we can't just forgive student debt? Let people have an education that they don't have to hawk their future to what they do next. We should have fears. It leads to similar kinds of choices that are unfair choices. What do you do when you leave here and there's 10% unemployment for graduates coming out in 2011 with a college degree? What do you do? What kinds of choices do you make in the face of this debt? And I think these questions is where that kind of connection we can make between the question of can you live in your home, whether you're a renter or you're an owner, can you live in your life when you come out from college